I pushed all buttons. I think we are live. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
I mean, I just think that we are live. Maybe the chat can give us feedback if they can actually hear us. But I actually pushed every button and everything is like, blinking and stuff. So I think everything is good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, André. How are you?
I'm fine, except that I didn't book my hairstylist's appointment yet. So I'm just feeling a little bit awkward trying to take care of my hair, that it doesn't look too strange. But we're waiting for it to be cut. But I guess you all know the feeling.
Are you?
Except you, Astrid, because your hair looks amazing.
Thank you, André.
You're welcome.
You actually, you know what? You actually just stole my subject because I was complaining about hair and wearing headphones and that stuff. Like just before, as we were with Jan, our guest today, in the pre-warm up whatever room, and now you just stole my topic. But yeah, you're right. My hair looks nice, at least from this angle. But as soon as I would turn like this, it's getting strange.
Not really move, but.
It's getting
do we have the
strange.
possibility to do any kind of surveys within the chat, actually? So we could have people vote on whose hair is looking better.
We can.
Yeah, we can.
We can. I've never done that before. We can try and we can just see what happens. Maybe I kill the stream. That would be fun, right? But now that
you have any of these fancy buttons on your Elgato push deck or however it is called.
I think, it's not a function on my stream deck. Excuse me,
Stream
sir.
Deck.
The correct name for my push deck is Elgato Stream Deck. It's not a button on this. I think I would need to do that in the stream manager somehow. I just don't know where. I mean, I can do a clip. Oh, I can click on doing a 60 seconds advertising break. Why should I do that? What should I advertise for? I can start a raid, but I don't see where I can actually do a poll. But I know that we have people in the chat like Aresium. Good morning, by the way, who's raiding us with some person. I'm pretty sure that they actually know how this works. Maybe they can tell me, and we can do a poll, during our show when I finally figured out how it works. And then we can actually make a poll like how has the more nice hair, like you and me, and afterwards like me and Jan, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to win.
Definitely you're going to win. It's out of question.
It's out of question. So enough about our hair.
Yes.
Or you want to go on with that topic?
Let's talk about the great team that we're going to have today, or this kind of edition of Vertical Slice that we're doing today.
Yep. I mean,
it was. Okay, actually, it was me who suggested Overhype Studios for this week's show, because I'm not familiar with how many people of you played Battle Brothers before. But for me, I can't remember who mentioned it to me that I should give it a try. But it was a very good suggestion to tell me to play this game, because I really put some hours into it. And I really loved the gameplay, and I was really surprised, because very often when we talk about teams from Germany, the sales numbers, or in the last years, the sales numbers were not so high. And suddenly there's this team called Overhype Studios out of Hamburg that is really, really successful on Steam. I think right now we are talking about 11,000 ratings so far for the game, which is quite a number. Which we can later check on with Jan, how this converted into how many sales that actually means. And people love this game. And I was so surprised, because I never met the people before at any conference or somewhere. It's just like they are coming out, were hidden behind a blanket somehow, or maybe I attended the wrong conferences, but I never met anyone in person before. And so I was very happy to point out this game and the team to Astrid and say, hey, we definitely should make a show together with the people from Overhype Studios.
Yeah, and just to be very clear, folks out there, it's not like, André suggested it once. Actually, you suggested that game like every week. Regardless what we were talking about, André was always like, oh, we could do something with Battle Brothers. I really like that game. Have you played that game? And surprise, I haven't. I actually haven't played that game until yesterday, until André and actually Jan from Overhype Studios provided me a key. And I must say that I already spent some hours in the game. Yeah, and I have a lot of feelings for that game. I mean, not all of them are positive, not all of them are hard. Don't get me wrong, but it is very challenging. And because we just spoke about the game before, we knew that it is kind of a complex game actually. And we felt like, 30 to 40 minutes let's play wouldn't actually be enough to really get into the game and to showcase that game. So we just decided to make a little, I don't want to say special, but it is kind of a special because we're only going to have one guest today, but having like a very long see Astrid fail in Battle Brothers. Let's play. Yeah. Because, I mean, just to be very honest, I only have like 4 hours gameplay at that point. I know that André already has like 44 hours gameplay on that game. I mean, I just wanna mention my reaction again. As you told me yesterday, here is the key. And I asked like, oh, did you already play the game? And you were like, yeah, 44 hours. I think my first reaction was like, you are such a clown. It's like...
For those people of you who have played the game already or didn't play the game before, I mean, it's a roguelike, and we are talking about permadeath here. I mean, the units or that are part of your team that are going to die, and some of them will die, they are not coming. So if you lose them, you have to try it all over again, or you have to live with the consequences by saying, okay, lost my favorite, I don't know, close combat master. And then you have to continue with those who are still alive and part of your party. It's quite challenging, and I grinded a lot, and I enjoyed it as well. Just like, it's a love and hate relationship with your units and your characters, and with the whole game. Then in the end,
it is. And I must say, when I just said like not all of them are positive, it's not like I don't like the game or the game is bad or something like that. It's more like I died, no, not I, but some of my crew members died so often that I had to restart the game like frequently. I started a mission and like 25 minutes later, I started the mission again, and then I started the mission again and again and again. And this is freaking me out because even if they didn't die at all, one was, I don't know, one was like injured, or I didn't get the loot that I saw before as another person actually died, and I permanently restarted the game, and this is like, this makes me crazy. Yeah,
so also like it just feels like the beginning of games, the earlier times where nothing came for free. When you wanted to achieve something within a game, then you really had to work and being able to achieve that into the game. That is something that is just like that I'm not a huge fan of, is that you can buy a lot of progress within games, not for free, but you actually can buy the progress for money. Where it's just like, it's not the same amount of fun if you just, I don't know, buy several loot boxes, get the things that you want to have definitely, and then just can buy it. But this game really makes you grind for it and really makes you work on it, and that also means the effort feels more fulfilling because you really get rewarded for the things that you achieved, and it makes sense to save often and start the game all over again, do the mission again because you want to have your favorite mercenaries or you want to keep them alive.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do today, actually. I will just start it all over again because I didn't manage, to get like a saving with the crew I have that was like satisfying. With like, I don't want to go on that point that I just saved yesterday before I went to bed. It's not like I'm not satisfied with the crew I have right now, and I lost some members and I don't have enough gold. I would just start over again. Happy me.
But Dana in the chat says she's not a fan of permadeath because she's getting too attached. How about you, Astrid?
Yeah, what should I say? Here I am. Starting over again.
all over again. But yeah, it's in the end, one of your darlings will die, and sooner or later you get over it, and then you think about you're also managing like the new apprentice that joins your mercenary troop and make them able to joining the old veterans and have them slowly getting into the level where you could say, okay, if this guy dies now, it's okay because I got some backup that are already prepared for this. But still, yeah, it's always sad, and either you love it or either you hate it.
To learn, here is a good tip actually. To learn Battle Brothers, it's better not to play with Iron Man. Thank you so much for that tip, Nairod. Good morning, by the way. I mean, I started on a level beginner and I still suck. I didn't try the Iron mode.
I mean, I also didn't play Iron Man because start the game, play it, and even if you started as a beginner and you think you're somehow you know how to play games and you know about tactical battles and everything how it works on, it's still challenging. And so this is, if you really want to torture yourself, then it's a good idea to start with Iron Man. Or maybe not start with it, but if you're seeking further challenge in the end, then it's a good idea to move over to Iron Man.
You know what also is actually a funny and interesting fact, because we have been, or at least I have been talking with Jan a little bit before, and I mean, of course, I told him that I'm not that good in that game so far. I mean, I can become very good in the game. And he actually said to me that he also is not like the best player in that game. I think that is good to know that even like, the studio that developed and published the game has some issues to actually, how should I say, survive in the game, within the game. But he also told me that he actually did record some tutorials. So I really hope that he's going to give me some tips later on when we are going to have the Let's Play, because I just want to survive the first missions, at least the first missions, right?
You will survive.
I will survive. Talking about Jan.
That is one of the guilty pleasures within my life. Yeah, to tell Astrid some amazing difficult games to play live here on within Vertical Stream or on any other devcom show. To see her getting over all these challenges that best case I already survived or that I already fulfilled anyhow. But we're going to add another chapter to this little book of challenges by having us playing it today. Nice.
Yeah, but André, we already have another show where, my colleague Nico is actually doing nothing else than trying to survive. It's called Tears and Trophies, and everyone can actually see Nico failing every Monday evening. So please, the next challenge you give me should be something I can actually, shine. That would be nice. That would be nice. But you know what? Let's get Jan into the stream. I want to talk to him. Yes, please. Jan, are you around?
Push the magic
button. Hi.
Unmute yourself. Oh, it's working like a charm. Hello.
Ta-ta-ta-ta! I pushed the right button again.
Great.
Yeah, I failed on that. I have failed on that in the very first show. I failed so hard on pushing the buttons. So I think I did some progress. But let's not talk about this. Let's talk about you. Jan, maybe you want to introduce yourself a little bit to our viewers, because as we just learned from André Bernhard, it seems that Overhype Studios is not such a known name, or hasn't been such a known name in the German industry, at least, until Battle Brothers was published. Yeah.
I'm Jan. I'm one of the founders of Overhype Studios, and we founded the studio back in 2015, and the game we did is Battle Brothers, and it started out as a hobby project. So we've been working on that like on the weekends and the evenings, and all at the side of our regular jobs for a couple of years. And then 2015, we got the game in a state where we felt comfortable with putting it into early access. And we wanted to see if it actually will work and how it will be received. And it worked really well, so we could quit our day jobs and go full time on Battle Brothers. And since then, we've fully released the game from early access in 2017, and we made by now 3 DLCs, so rather big expansions that we worked like around a year each. And we're really happy with how the game has been received. And we are like not really professional, so I'm a economist. My twin brother, who's doing all the artwork, he's a geologist, and and then we have a programmer, so it's the 3 of us. And we are basically the core team as well who made the game. And it's great to see how the game was received and that it's getting so popular, and it will enable us to keep making games, which is what we really want to do.
So it's actually only 3 person. Wait, it's actually only 3 persons.
Yes, it's a core team. So we do have a writer who's doing most of the writing as a freelancer, and musicians, and they did the soundtrack, but they are also not just coming in to create the tracks. And that's basically it.
It's an incredible story. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of the beginning of id Software. For those, there's a fantastic book. Next time I need to put it on the shelf here somewhere. It's called Masters of Doom, and it tells the story of id Software. And in the beginning, it just felt like your story, like all those people had full-time jobs, and in the evening they were getting all their stuff together, listening to heavy metal. I'm not sure whether you listen to metal while coding, but they had heavy metal and pizza and were coding all night then, and coming back the next day, going back to their day job. But that's an incredible achievement, because it's actually you doing 2 jobs within the week then, or within this time.
Yeah, that was a very exhausting times as well. That's why we decided at some point to put the game into early access, because it was just not maintainable for too long.
Yeah.
And we tried to give it a shot and see if it will actually get enough traction to keep us working full time.
Yeah,
and luckily
crazy.
it did.
But tell us a bit about your background and the people of the team. I mean, so far as I understood it, you are not part of the games industry then before, or?
No, none of us really. My twin brother, he studied geology, and then he got a job as a concept artist at Big Point,
Yeah.
which is a German company, a gaming company. And so he has a little bit of a professional background, but he's also somebody who got into the games industry by chance as well, so from a hobby point as well. And we've been playing games and making games since we were little kids. So we invented pen and paper systems and board games and did live action role play and played basically all kinds of games, and always thought one of our favorite games was the original XCOM from the 90s. And we thought, why is nobody making a fantasy version of that? So basically taking that concept and making a fantasy game that works like that game. And nobody was doing it. So then we thought, okay, we give it a try because we really want to play that. And that's the basic concept behind the game. And that's the reason why we did it, because we really wanted to play this game. And nobody was making it, so we had to do that. And that was the basic premise. And we never thought we would go that far, actually.
Crazy. And very often I got the feeling that it's like, or from my perspective, the German games industry very often feels like an echo chamber or filter bubble. You know, you meet the same people all over again, and all those people are doing all the stuff all over again, and you see them again at conferences. And then the real innovation then comes from somebody from the outside who is pushing into the industry, which doesn't really have this kind of legacy within the industry, by saying, okay, I worked at 11 big studios or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they come into it, and they don't come into it with the idea of doing the same all over again, but really push it regarding innovation and doing something that they really would love to see. And then it's the best thing to see it's the best thing to see that these ideas also succeed.
Yeah, I think in Germany there's there are some problems with the gaming industry in general. Like one is the political side, that it's now changing with the games funding. That like all the other countries already have like really big support programs for games. For example, in Canada, you get the income tax, or like the taxes that you spend on wages. You get a big part of that back. And all these countries do a lot to foster the growth of gaming companies, and Germany so far has done nothing for that. And the second one, I think, is historically from the big publishing businesses in Germany, that all these old school publishing houses and they had this markets in such a firm hand over all the years that these old structures are still holding down innovations. And that's a really big topic, but that's my feeling, that the industry is not very, or has not been as helpful to newcomers as it might be good for it. So
I quickly want to jump in. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you guys, but we have new people following actually and coming into the chat, and they were asking what we are doing here. So for everyone that is new in the channel and in that show, this is Vortex Slice. It's the devcom indie show, and it's pretty much a show about indie games with indie game studios and developers. And we're talking about, indie games, several related topics to indie games. And you know what's the best? We are actually playing indie games. And so if you just came in a few minutes ago, today's guest is Taaks from Overhype Studios, who developed with some other few people this direction, like this direction, with some other few people, an amazing game which I hate and love at the same time. So, sorry for interrupting, because that was actually a very interesting thingy that you have just been talking about, and now I feel bad that I cut you off.
No worries. That's something that maybe it takes the whole discussion a bit too far away from the actual game.
Oh, but that's also nice, because I think, there are millions of people here who are just streaming games and just playing it, and I think it's always good a bit to look behind the curtain and get some background information of how you made it, because I think there are a lot of people out there who would also love to succeed or being successful, make a living out of making games. And I think that it's quite a empowering story, by saying, okay, you can even do this next to your day job and then try to be successful. And if it works out, then you can run your own company, even if you don't have that big connections to the games industry. I mean, it's sad to hear that it's not that inclusive yet, the games industry, that it's hard to get connected then somehow. But I think there are a lot of things changing. In Germany, it's always changing a bit slower, but there's that, hopefully.
Getting in touch with people in the games industry is actually very easy. So outside of Germany, especially, it's really crazy that people that made really successful games, I just hit them up on Twitter or LinkedIn or wrote an email to them, and nearly all of them instantly reply and are very helpful and even share like sort of secret info and like business infos and everything, and it's really amazing. And I can hardly imagine in another industry that is this open. But the thing is that in Germany, Germany is like, the structures are very rigid, and for example, you have like these big companies in Germany, but they mostly do browser games and mobile games, and there's very little in the way of actual like core games that we are doing, which are not social and not mobile and not online, basically against all trends. And so it's a bit rough to find like-minded people, but there are a lot of them, but they are a bit harder to find.
And I can imagine that it's especially difficult in Hamburg, because there are so many big companies, also great companies, but so many big companies over there that have I'm not sure how many people still work at Big Point, but there's still InnoGames, and there used to be Good. I guess Good Games is still around as well. But they all changed quite strongly within the number of employees. But it's difficult to set up something on your own then, by having all those big players like paying nice wages and everything, or salaries, and getting trying to get people on board and do games for them. So I'm always happy to see and to hear that indie developers then really make it and can be successful next to all these established players. But
so
I'm
one
repeating
more
myself.
thing. Sorry. In Hamburg, there's actually an indie game treff, it's called, and it's a regular meetup for indie game developers or people who want to start there. And we are there as often as we can, and it's really great to meet up with like-minded people. So if you're in Hamburg and you want to do something in the indie games scene, then definitely that's a place to go.
Let's quickly have a look on that page, actually.
Yeah, but I guess at the moment it's just happening online, or
unfortunately, yeah.
When is the next one?
I'm not even sure. So at one point we also did a talk there, and that was also a great experience. And and they always have speakers that are very, very interesting to listen to. Sometimes even like from publishers or other indie developers, some lessons learned and everything. It's a really great place.
Can you zoom in a bit more, Astrid?
Already doing that.
Thanks.
I'm so sorry for having like such a good monitor, like screen. It's such a high resolution. It is so huge.
It really surprised me. So no offense here, but by taking a first look at the screenshots and everything you can see here regarding Battle Brothers, it doesn't look like this intensive gameplay that you're later going to see. Because I mean, the art style is quite reduced. I mean, you're not showing full units. You only have those, let's say, portraits of your mercenaries moving around. Was that actually a design decision, or have you come up with this idea by just saying, okay, that is what we are able to fulfill, and that's what we are able to do, and that's why we made it this way?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a resource constraint that we had. So in the first prototypes, we did have full body figures that were even animated with walking around, but then you have to paint them in 6 different directions and make all the animations and everything. And then we realized we wouldn't be able to make the game that way. And then we cut all the resources. So we basically also cut the people in half. So we didn't have to make any animations, and in the beginning it was extremely difficult to get that art style to stick, because people were very, very upset because they are not used to that. They said, "Oh, they look like they come out of a manhole," and people were ridiculing it. And over the time, that has changed with the reception of the game, and now there are quite some games that basically copy a similar style or use it, and also it has its advantages, because you can see the faces of the characters a lot bigger than you would have been able on 3D models, for example. You can see all the injuries they have, how the armor is dented and everything, and it adds a lot of character to your units. So it turned out to be a good thing.
And also, I mean, totally agree. It's as soon as you play, you're not going to miss out on anything. I mean, there can always be more glamour to the graphics and everything, but in the end, it's important that the gameplay is fun. And I mean, that's also something that you see a lot within indie games, that it's not about how many frames per second. How much polygons your 3D model has or something like that. It's about the true gaming experience, and that is something that you're delivering super well, and that really turns you into the story. I mean, the story is procedural as well, or some parts are procedural, and some, I guess, the overall arc is like set in stone. But it's not necessary to add some more glamour to this to deliver the experience, from my perspective.
Yeah, it's something that the people will. I think first of all, actually finishing the game. I mean, if you have an unfinished game that looks awesome, it doesn't really help you. So setting the scope in a way that you can actually finish something, that's most important. And then also just as you said, like creating all the atmosphere and the environment, and that we try to give other things, like not the visuals, but also like the audio, like the sound effects, the music, and things like that help create atmosphere besides of the characters not having legs, and still being an immersive experience.
Talking about the atmosphere and the game style, let's get into the game, right?
Yeah,
sure.
So I would suggest you guys just go on talking.
But please start the game. I mean, it's one thing to talk about it.
You know what? I already started it. I just waited for a moment that I can actually, like switch the screen, push the button, do that stuff. Does it work?
Familiar. So, just a short question before it starts. I mean, you were 3 people in the beginning. How many people were working in the end at the game? I mean, maybe when you took it out of early access.
3.
Still
3. So all the years it's just us 3, and right now we are looking a bit into growing the studio, but we are very, very afraid of it because Battle Brothers did really well, and we made we managed to put some reserves on the side, and actually hiring people is like a really big step for us because you really have to plan ahead. You have to you are responsible for those people. You have to make sure you can actually pay them, and you have to have work for them. So it's quite a big step.
How can you name your team Set Sail for Fail? What's that for a name for a mercenary company? Who would hire those people?
Because that's exactly how I feel now. I also think that I did choose the right banner for my mission.
Set sail for fail. Okay.
So let's make sure it's beginner, yes. Starting funds high, yes. No Iron Man mode. Not going to do that, guys. Can I actually change the map seed by myself, or is that something I could just delete, or what does that? I mean, where does that string comes from?
It's randomly generated, and the whole map, like all the cities, the city names, the regions, and the style of the map will be different every time. But you can copy the seed and post it to somebody else, and then he can play on the exact same map. So there's actually a Steam thread with good seeds that you can use for your game.
So let's see where I landed and ended up.
Yeah, sure thing.
But there are some maps that are easier to start with. I mean, what would be a good thing to have an easier start with, where good cities of different houses are more closely connected, or?
Yeah, exactly, and where there are not a lot of mountain ranges, and also some favorable trade opportunities. So when you have some sort of trading goods that you can buy cheap and sell really well in a close by city, so stuff like that.
So you guys see, I have a lot of mountains here. I right away start again over because nope.
Yeah, okay. Set sail for fail did the job. And that's what I also really love. Maybe you can explain this feature for a second. As soon as you finish the game, there is like, I only know this mechanic from Pirates or those old Microprose games where it's just like when you finish, then there comes this message how well you overall did in the game because there is no real end within it. Or, I mean, it's all about the point when you retire.
Yeah, we had a big problem with the people keeping playing like for I don't know, one campaign for like 400 hours because they get so attached to their characters that they really don't want to stop. But the game is not really balanced for that. It's balanced for, to play until the first big crisis, and then you should stop playing the game, right? And so we really try to create some mechanics to entice people to actually retire their company and get like a cool little write-up of the characters and then start a new game.
I actually would love to survive that long that I can get attached to my characters. Let's see what I got now.
This looks decent.
It looks decent. I once started with like a desert scenery, which was lovely. I liked that one, but I just saw it once.
Yeah, it's in the very south of the map. So the map has some rules to it. So in the north there will always be snow, and then tundra, and then the desert in the south. So it's like how it actually looks and where the cities are placed is random, but there are some general rules to it.
So first of all, I will go, or first I will go to that city and check if I can actually do something useful here. So every city has some buildings, actually. Not every city has every building. More cities have more buildings where you can do stuff, and some cities have less. This looks like a decent city because you have a tavern, which makes your man very happy when you spend some money for drinks. And I'm a good boss. I always spend some money for drinks, actually. You got a marketplace.
They didn't do anything yet.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I'm a good boss. You have a marketplace where you can check several items to equip your man. You can always check your man actually here. So right now I have 3 men. They are all in good spirit. Of course, they are all in good spirit. I'm a very good lady boss. Let's see how they are equipped. Poorly, of course. And as I just learned in 4 hours yesterday, it's not about like the manpower, how many men you have. It very much is about how good they are equipped. So I'm gonna spend all my money now in making them looking like fierce. Huh.
How important is the trade part? I mean, could you also just focus on mainly on the trading stuff? I mean, trading goods. There's just like stuff that one city produces that another city needs, and yeah, you can see it there on the could see it on the top right corner where there's like, I don't know, what do we have there? I know you just was working like grain and all those stuff, those commodities that you could move over.
Yeah, so it is possible to make quite a lot of crowns in the game with that, but it has never been planned in a way to make that like your full pastime. It's not for that. There's not enough depth to the economic simulation there. So it's just meant to make some quick cash on the side. And if people want to put a lot of time into that, then can actually make a lot of crowns for this. But it's not meant as to be your main thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I think you should buy not the most expensive armors. I think 6 guys should be good. And what I personally do,
where should I get the money for 6 guys?
Hire some really cheap guys in the beginning and get some shields for them. The shields are the most, like the basic round shields. That's the most important part. And
basic round shields,
and in combat, use their defensive abilities.
Okay, wait. You tell me to get 6 guys. Okay, let me get 3 guys
3 more.
Like take the cheap one. Where are the cheap one? Are you kidding me?
That's a bit unlucky. There are no cheap ones here. Maybe you should have a visit to the next city.
So let's go to another city, or what?
Yeah.
Oh, they're close by. That's what I really loved about the game as well, is that all those characters and all those units have personal traits. Like some have special abilities. I mean, in the beginning, you start out with hiring, I don't know, wood choppers and peasants and those regular village crowd. And later on, you are able then to get like the sellswords or the hedge knights and those more famous people that are also used to the fighting game or to big battles.
Yeah, and all the characters are procedurally generated as well. So for each background, we have a variety of different texts as well. So these texts will be different. There's a detailer, that's a very good hire in the beginning. At the bottom, you have a brawler, the guy with the fist. That's also a very good early hire. And they're very cheap. No, at the cheap one.
Yeah,
the cheap one. I just wanted to get back to the thingy that André just said, because you can actually spend a little money here to check out their trades. Do you ever invest money for this? Because I'm a curious person. Yeah, I'm a curious person. I want to know with whom I'm going to work, you know?
I think in the beginning, the people are not very likely to make it that far in your company, so it's not that important. But when you spend a lot of money on a
Yeah.
sales slot, you really want to make sure that he's not a craven or something.
Brawler.
How does
You
it
told
work
me
out with
brawler.
the nicknames? Are they related to the traits anyhow? I mean, we just had before, we had, I don't know, Casper the Lucky, and is this just a nickname, or is there some secret message in their traits that is connected to the name?
This is actually connected to the traits. So if the lucky guys probably will be lucky, or the strong will be strong, most likely. And another very important part when you are deciding like what equipment you give the guys are the little stars you can see in the stats. Called talent points. And those are when they level up, they will have a very much increased chance to increase the stats with the stars, and they will grow them a lot faster. So like having a guy with a star on the melee skill or something is really good.
Okay. I mean, I just did what you actually told me. I got 2 more guys. I need 1 more guy, right? But I want to have a cheap one. Sorry for saying, but I need a cheap one. And I actually just gave them like a shield. That's all. Let's go. Let's go to the next city.
Later on, a weapon would also be nice.
Oh no!
On the
Who needs a
marketplace,
weapon?
you will usually find a lot cheaper equipment, like
Yes.
the armorer. There will also be armor on the marketplace, but it might be low quality and a bit battered up. But in the beginning, you should buy the equipment on the marketplace because it's cheaper than the armorer.
So I already started wrong again? Does it mean that I already have to start over again? Really?
No, it's all fine.
Okay.
You can do it.
I can do it. I can just buy, something cheap here and actually repair it.
Yep. It will repair automatically when you equip it to guy. And also in the beginning, spears are very helpful weapons because they add a chance to hit. So the really bad recruits that you have in the beginning, they will hit the enemy more with the spear. So just a regular spear.
Yeah, because there was a throwing weapon.
Pitchfork is also a good one in the beginning.
Oh, pitchfork.
It's a two-handed one that you can use from the back line, so you don't need a shield for that guy. So you put him behind the shielded guys, and he will use the pitchfork to attack over distance.
I have one guy that can actually use it, like here. This little guy here.
He has the big axe, but the big axe is a bit hard to use in the beginning as well. Because he doesn't have a shield, but he also has to be close to the enemy to use the axe. So when he doesn't hit, then he will take a lot of damage.
So you know what? I would give him a little pitchfork actually.
That's a good call.
Is the stats on that point on the weapon already important? Like, reducing armor and stuff like that. On that point in the game, is it already important? No?
You don't really have to look out for all these stats in the very beginning. It's that those become a lot more important later on. For example, when you have orc warriors, they have massive amounts of armor, so you will have to use a warhammer or something that is especially good at crushing armor.
I see. So we said that we will give this guy a pitchfork. And then you said it will repair automatically?
Yes. You just have to spend some time on the world map.
Okay. Good. And then we said we'll give one of those guys maybe like this little thingy I just bought. There you go. Yes. And this little man here still needs a weapon. Okay, let's see what I can find here. Don't want to spend too much money. What about swords?
So in the beginning, it's okay to spend all the money, but basically you keep like 200 or something because you have to pay daily wages, and if you don't pay them, they will leave your company.
It's also a business simulation then.
Yeah. What about axes? Is it?
Yeah, that's a decent early game weapon as well.
Nice. Let me see that one. Damage ignores.
Well, I mean, that is such this also feels so fulfilling. In the beginning, you buy all these crap weapons, and then you see this huge, this very beautiful armors and the excellent swords and everything. Where just like, later on I can make it to buy the helmet, and it feels so fulfilling when you later achieve it. Then to have the money together to buy this expensive equipment. Sad thing is that the equipment also need to be repaired and can be damaged and can be lost in the end. Where it's just like nothing in this game really stays forever.
Yeah. And getting some cheap armors in the beginning is also very good. So the gambeson, that one for example, and the cheap helmets, because when a guy is hit to the head, he takes like really increased damage. So getting some really cheap helmets, and even if it's just a head, that helps a lot in the beginning of the game as well. And getting some cheap armors is also very important.
What about the apron? Is the apron a good armor?
The leather armors are better. The chainmails might be too expensive in the beginning, and but getting the leather armors is a good starting point.
So you little guy get this, and you get a little head.
So as armor just works like basically additional hit points. You can see that this guy has like 50 hit points, but then he gets 50 armor, so he's basically doubling the damage he can take, and that helps a lot. It's a bit more complicated than that, but this is a simple version.
But that is also something that really feels like, okay, the more you play the game, the more you master the mechanics and then understand, okay, yeah, it's a good idea to protect. I mean, it's a good idea to protect these people because when the first time one of your character loses an eye or starts to limp or anything, they're just like, damn, that was one of my favorite warriors, and now I have to live with that he only has this one eye. I mean, protection does help in keeping people alive.
I feel like you really actually advised wrong to me, because now I just read that Nyrod wrote in a chat that in the beginning it's better to use spears. And look at me, what did I buy? A fork.
Yeah, but the fork is also good in the beginning, and there were no more spears available, so you will always have to make do with what you find, and that's also one of the concepts of Battle Brothers, is that you will be, you have to play the hand that you're dealt, and if you in the first few cities you don't find what you're looking for, then you have to do without, right? So you have to use different weapons, or you have to, if you're not finding a recruit that is very good with shooting weapons, then you will probably have to do without some marksmen. And so it's all about making the best of what you have, and taking it from there.
Which brings us back to the concept of a good game, which is about making interesting decisions. And by saying, okay, you're implementing scarcity into the game, like not everything is available everywhere, also feels more rewarding when you then in the end make it to get this sword that you are looking for, or get those cell sword that you definitely wanted to hire, or the hedge knife. I mean, there was something that I remember quite well the first time where I made this expensive hire for the first time, where it's not about peasants and brawlers that are joining my mercenary troop, but having like someone with a legacy that fought before in wars.
Yeah, exactly. It's always it's always a trade-off as well, because the if you're in the beginning you hire a day tailor or a beggar, at some point he will level up a lot and will be quite a decent fighter. So then getting a low-level sellsword, which technically has better stats, but he's low level, and then you really have to decide what you're doing.
There is a cheap guy. Hello, cheap guy.
Fuck the liar. Sounds legit.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, I already have a guy who has -10 resolve when battle with greenskins.
But this is an extremely good perk. The melee
melee skill, right? Yeah.
Melee skill. This is really good.
Hello, Sissy. Now you're part of my team. Welcome. Need some stuff for you. I forgot to buy some stuff for that. I mean, I didn't know what I would get, so it wouldn't have made sense to spend like gold on weapons I could not use, right? What is this guy here? I want to get a shield again, right? Because it's all about shield and protection, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let me get a basic round shield. This looks...
Learner, Astrid.
I even yeah, I even don't want to comment on that one. So
Get
we
the
said that leather tunics are a good thingy
that
as
one's
well.
fine as well. This one's okay for it's better than nothing. This one as well. It's okay in the beginning. It doesn't it doesn't help a lot, but maybe we'll take one blow.
I mean, I actually expect all of my men to die in the first mission.
That might
Maybe,
happen, yeah.
yeah. So
That's
let's
what I
go.
loved about the game
Let's
as
go with the
well.
cheap stuff.
That it feels somehow like a meta RPG, because I mean, yeah, you have this character progress, but in the end, it's all about the progress of your mercenary troop. And all those little people that you are fighting together with, they are just part of the bigger body of your troop. And that is something that makes it, makes it good to see that or makes it easier not to get attached too much to the single people or to the single warrior, because in the end it's about the troop and being successful, and not like having staying with all of them until the end, because that's quite hard to manage. I guess it's impossible to manage.
There are some players around who actively hire bad guys to use them as cannon fodder, and to send them on positions that are most likely to get them killed. And it's all about managing the resources you have. And in the end, what was behind the game is basically our idea of having a story generator. So we wanted the game to generate memorable moments, and those can be moments of success, but also moments of defeat, like having a heroic last stand on a hill against an orc horde, and then everybody of your company gets killed. I mean, then your game is over, but you have like this really cool story to tell, and how this one guy managed to kill the orc boss and whatever. And it's about creating unique experiences for every playthrough.
While a lot of the game is, or the biggest part of the games are definitely the battles, but still there are other encounters that you can have on the map, like meeting random strangers and
vampires.
No, also just like story-wise, not like that turns out into a battle, but sometimes you have to make a decision about taking care of a lost child or an orphan, bringing it somewhere, or someone who has his personal feud. But what I remember, if I remember it correctly, is that the outcome is not set in stone. So there is not like the real progression, like the right answer, but the right answer can lead to different outcomes, depending on, I don't know, random numbers in the background or anything. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. And also sometimes you will get additional options based on the traits and of your characters. So this is the ambition, right?
Right. So I can either say like, oh yeah, let's like be a plunder person, go wild, go crazy, woo! Or I can say, let's, behave decent and get allies and stuff like that. What would you recommend?
Working with the towns first is usually the safer bet.
I mean, it gives 2 rewards, so I would have chosen that.
And this requires you to basically do contracts for a settlement. And this will increase your reputation there.
Fantastic. And and now I'm heading to the northeast. I'm looking for a Forgotten Tomb, and I fear that Forgotten Tomb is already like not a good idea. But
but for this contract, you just have to find it. You don't have to actually go into that. So we do have random locations scattered across the wilderness, and there's no difficulty scaling on those. So some of them are very easy, and the further you go away from settlements and from civilization, the more dangerous they will get. But a part of the trick in the game is to know when to fight and when to run, and learning that is actually an important thing. And so many games like hold your hand, and they don't throw a challenge at the player that he cannot take. But with this kind of open world sandboxy game, there's always like the freedom to fail when you will.
So the encounters that you make in the wilderness, they are not attached to the level of your company somehow, or balanced to it. They are set in stone. So what is difficult in the beginning, or no? What was the game called again? You took a arrow in the knee. Oblivion. where it just like levels out the encounters depending on who you are, and this is not what's going to happen here. Or
No. Oh, that's an
Okay.
orc then.
Yeah,
Probably
nope.
want to go.
Yeah, nope. Much
So
appreciated.
this
Yeah.
guy gives
Bye.
you, that event was actually giving you a tip where to find this location.
Fun.
Because when the player is having trouble finding the location, there will come some little events that will tell you in what direction to go.
Did you guys manage to read it actually? Because I got so scared. I got so scared that I
probably have
just
to
clicked.
go a little bit further to the east, I would suspect.
I mean, east
And-
is in this direction, right? I would just
To the
head to
right,
this direction. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes these orc camps will send out raiding parties. And
yeah.
So
is
much
that actually
fun.
an orc camp? It's a bit blurred on my screen. I think maybe it's something else. It's an undead location, is it?
It
Yeah,
is
it's an
an
undead
reanimate. Yeah, and
not an
the
orc.
undeads. It's. I mean, I already met the undeads. I didn't had so much fun with them.
What we try to do is like to make every faction feel very different from each other. For example, the zombies will have a different AI than other enemies, and they will just straightforward run into your spears and everything, and they eventually will exhaust your fighters, and that's what they are doing.
So
wait.
this time I
Go
got to read what they actually say.
The zombies are very, very easy to kill, but at some point they will stand up again, and you guys will be so exhausted that you cannot fight them anymore, and you will get overwhelmed. So that's their tactic.
Far in the west of where we are now, but I mean, I just traveled to the east, and now it says it's in the west. That means that I already passed by.
Probably, yeah.
But I came from that direction. I don't understand.
Yeah, but the view radius is rather small of the character, and also especially at night, it gets reduced even further. So it can be sometimes a bit tricky to find these locations.
But it said that it actually has marked it on the map. Where?
West.
Straight to the left, I think.
I would just go back again. I mean, I can try to go through. Maybe I just need to go. Maybe I just no.
So with
Maybe
the ambition that you picked earlier, the ambition is something else, like from the contracts. Those are goals that you can set yourself. Basically, you always get different ones. And the idea behind that is to give the player a little more guidance for the midterm of the game, like for the etwas long, a little bit longer time frame, so that you have a goal besides the actual contract. And maybe it's probably further to the west.
Yeah. While Astrid is looking desperately for the place.
Just a long way to the west of here in the snow. Okay.
Just straight up to the left, and then we'll see.
Yeah, that's what I do know. I will just go through the snow.
I mean, when you released the game, there was no DLC yet. And meanwhile, you did release how many DLCs? 3 in total. 3 in total. And they were all paid DLCs, or no? The first one was for free.
Yeah, there was one. The fourth one is a very small one where we just added a lindworm. It's like a dragon to the game with according items.
It's fun fighting them.
And that was a free one, and then the other 3 are paid DLCs. And
fantastic.
So we ran out of food.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can always go back to the town, get some food before the guys get too unhappy, and then you could also just cancel the contract and go to another city and maybe take on another contract.
Do you know where that location is that I'm looking for, actually, Jan?
No.
Are you sure that you don't know where it is, Jan?
It's procedurally generated, so it's always always different locations. There it is. Oh, it wasn't that far from the city, was it?
Okay, but that means I can actually go back to the city where I should go anyway because my men are hungry. I can get my money, I can buy them some food.
Exactly. So first contract fulfilled, yay.
Yay! And all survived. Isn't that great?
Yeah. So there you go.
So,
350 is
So,
okay.
where do I actually buy the food? At the marketplace as well? I've never been in a
Yes.
situation before that I run out of food.
So just buy the very cheap grains. It's in the beginning. That's all you need.
That stuff here, you mean? No,
That's a salt.
grain.
Yes, yeah.
Grain. Let's go for the
give
grain.
them only salt.
They are more sophisticated food types, and the main advantage of that is that it lasts a lot longer. But you only need those once you start venturing out into the wild, and you need your food to be durable.
Mm.
And salt is a trading community.
What do you guys? I mean, cheese. What do you guys think about cheese? Because I very much like cheese. Cheese is one of my favorites. Should I buy some cheese?
I think you're fine with the grains for now.
Okay.
You really have
I
to
trust
keep
you.
an eye on your money in the beginning.
Really, Jan? Thank you so much for that very valuable advice. So let's see, what can I do here?
So this contract in the does have two skulls on the very top. So it's an intermediate contract, not an early contract. So I would usually recommend to skip that in the beginning and go back to the other town.
Good idea.
And
we
one
do that.
or one skull, basically.
Goodie. Let's see what's going on in Kungenshovel. Kungenshovel. And you know what? Whilst I'm walking there, I will quickly get something more to drink, and I'll be back in a second. And you guys will just go on and talk.
Sure. Well, I was asking about the DLC because the first time I came in contact with the game, I was alert into it, and I really loved it so far. And then you know what's happening with people that got stuck within a game that began to love it. They are checking out, is there more content and everything going on? And so I checked out Twitter and everything that was available on content, and then I came up with the discussion that let's say discussion, or with the announcement of your team by saying, no, we did this DLC and now we are done with this game, we're doing something else. And I was really surprised to see that there was a huge outcry in the community that said, no, we love this game, it can't be that you stop developing on it, we have to rely on you adding further content into it. I mean, how rewarding was this to see that people get so attached to it? And also, I mean, how to overcome this? Did you have the feeling of becoming a slave to the community now that you endlessly have to develop new DLC and content?
So in the beginning, that was, like when people ask me, what big mistakes did you do in your time as a developer? I always think that that's the biggest one that we said after the full release, that we will take on another project, a different one. And at that point, we've been working on the game for like 2 years in early access, and before that, like 3 years besides our jobs, and we were just very tired and creatively drained from the project, and that's why we wanted to do something else. And so up until then, we always had our principle to be as honest as possible to the people, and it worked really well. But at that point, it didn't really work well, and because people were liking the game so much that they wanted more of it, and of course that's something to be happy about, but it can be a bit difficult because for the first time we were in a position where there was a really big break between us and the community, and it was rather hard to overcome. So then we talked to some really experienced guys from the industry, and they told us, okay, you have to get back in touch with the community, and the best thing to do is give them something free, maybe like a small DLC. So that's why we developed the first free DLC, like with the Litform, to just as a sign of goodwill and getting back in touch with the community. And at that point, like half a year has passed, and we had felt that the creativity and the energy came back to us, and all the ideas about what to add to the game. And at that point, we already started having lots of ideas for DLCs, and when we made the free DLC, it was so fun that we thought, okay, we'll make a DLC. So it basically, in the end, it was our decision, but it was initiated by the pressure from the community.
And do you think that is, I mean, is that a burden? I mean, by saying the community has so much power nowadays, and your rating on Steam is so important, and by just having these people like rate bombing your title if they are not happy with the way the game evolves. I mean, I think that is something that really changed. Meanwhile, to the prior years.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that because I remember I remember yesterday I had some like, let's say, incidents or accidents, and there were like only a few thugs and a few undeads and stuff, and I miserably failed. And I don't want to know if I really want to engage in that. But I actually took a one skull bone quest, so I should be fine to manage that, right?
But that's a random encounter, or is that the goal of the quest?
From a contract.
That is the goal of my quest, I think.
Yeah, I think you can give it a try. And if they kill you, then you just start over, right?
And if they kill you, you can just start over.
It's time to fight.
I'm so scared. I mean, look how many there are.
Where the game really shines.
But look how many there are.
Yeah, it's rough, but you can do it. So first of all, I think you should wait with this guy and let them come to you. And so that's the end turn. The one next to it is where you wait. When you wait, you will skip back to the end of the queue. So you will just wait for the others to take action. It can be very helpful to see what they're up to.
I'll be back in a second.
So you just want me to do actually nothing but press like spacebar?
Yeah, with this character first, exactly. And with the guys with the shields, you should get them in front of the archer and the pike guy.
Yeah. Let me see. There I mean, actually in front of that guys here, right? Yeah. If you guys are wondering why I am like, leaning on the screen like that, it is because I have to play the game in window mode, like in such a small window in very high resolution that you can actually see something, but I don't see shit. Okay, and then I want him to get his shield up, I guess.
But the others the enemies don't get close to you this turn because they are quite far away and it's snowy, so there's no use in activating the shield wall. Just move them down to the others, and that would be the best best action here.
You want me to move him like here?
Yeah, like so.
But that didn't work. Guy as well. But it can't get it can't take that many steps actually.
Yeah, it's fine. You have some time.
I don't trust you. I was so self-conscious yesterday, and then I died so often, and then.
So they are moving up now, and with this guy you can basically just skip your turn because there's nothing you can do right now, and you definitely have to stay in the back with the pike.
Yep.
Someone died already?
Nope.
But that's what I really love. I mean, I mentioned it 100 times already in different streams that I'm a huge Pool of Radiance and SSI Goldbox games fan. And they also had this tactical RPG combat. And I really like if you're putting all your troops into the right position. And then I like it when the people toughen up by hiring their shields and then expecting the first wave to come and crush on your swords.
You can shoot with this guy. You still can shoot.
I know, but what I also learned is that I can also shoot my own man. And yes, did I kill my own man accidentally?
Next to them. Yeah,
I did. But I mean,
when you're standing next to them, you shoot right through them. Yeah, and focus on the guys without shield and hope for the best.
And sometimes you randomly hit the guy behind the first one. That's also going to happen. So shoot the first one.
13. I shoot this one. It's okay, I shoot this one. Bam. So this guy's, I would just let him here because I feel safe and comfortable behind all those shields. But can I do something with him? Yeah, I'm just... André, thank you very much for your input. I'm just, I'm trying to get there.
I'm just so excited, entering berserk mode. So.
I see. Whew. Why is he not?
Now you connect with the back line.
No, I want what? No, do I want what? No, what? What?
The thing is that now when you wait, they will come to you, and that will be better because then you have the ability to attack them twice. So you will still want to wait for them to close in.
Okay, so we just do nothing?
You could put up a spear wall with that guy on the top. Or a shield wall with this guy, for example.
Can you maybe say that stuff before I just press spacebar?
Moral is waving.
So this guy will be very hard to hit, but you're still in the game. So you just reload and shoot the next guy in the face.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I know that's a sexy one.
When you're standing right next to your guys, you can shoot through them. So there's no chance of hitting your own guy.
Like, you mean that one?
No, like your own guy, you cannot shoot your own guy right now. And that's a good thing.
I can't. Where do I actually see the life points of my enemies? That is something that I couldn't figure out yesterday as well.
You can press Alt, and then you will see all the health bars.
That's good. So
I personally don't use that because I think it's a bit intrusive, but it can definitely help.
It is, but you know, if I would have more hit chance on that guy right now, and he's already like a bit low in health, I would totally go for that guy now. But he isn't. So I think I would take this little cheeky person over here. Bam! So let's see.
So he suffered an injury, which reduces his effectiveness in combat. So when you do a lot of damage, characters can take like an injury, like So this guy's still fine.
It's my turn, right?
Yes. Now you can pike somebody.
Can I pike
the injured ones?
Can I pike through here? Like,
this has a range of 2 tiles. It will highlight when you press the button.
But my injured one are here. I can't get to them.
The white one is also injured. That's the one you hit with the bolt before.
That one here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try the one.
Very good. But open the combat log. I want to see what injury you received.
Oh God. Okay. Okay, that is so exciting. Yeah, that guy is done. Let's see. Maybe I now want to get my shield up. I can actually do something nice, right? I can do like a thrust, maybe.
Yeah, thrust.
Thrust.
Okay. That guy has a shield wall up, so it's hard to hit. But still, with the spear has quite a high chance to hit, so I would still give it a try.
I mean, why shouldn't I give it a try, right? And I hit.
Very nice hit. That's a hit to the head. So
I'm such a pro, and I can actually do it again.
Yes.
Bam!
Well done.
Bam!
Yeah.
Oh,
so now you've seen on the enemies that they are getting little white flags. So that says that their morale is getting low. And that's always very good.
So split shield, but the shield guys are there. Okay, no shield. Then I would just, I guess, do some chop.
So there's one thing. The more people you have in touch with an enemy, the higher your chances are to hit. So for every other guy, you will get surround bonus to fight. So the top guy, this one, you will probably have a higher chance to hit than the bottom guy.
Bam! Chop again. Oh, dismissed. Damn.
Okay.
This
is getting a bit hairy because this guy's already injured and he only has a small shield.
Yeah, but I think that he can finish off this guy here.
Yeah, finish him.
Falling apart. Let's see who's the weaker one. Yeah, let's finish him. No!
We deliberately made the not seeable like how many hit points they have exactly and how many armor points, because we want the player to not min-max it to that extent, and we want to keep a little bit of obscurity in the combat, so you have to rely on your feeling and also the visuals. You can see there he has a bloodied face, he has his head armor cracked, and that will give more info on the state of the.
Why does this little person here. Like, why I missed him now so often.
Yeah, that's
Is
the
there
problem with the. This is the main critique that we are reading in the Steam reviews is the random number generation, because it's very, very hard for people to understand how probabilities work, and giving them like an 80% chance. The players in general are biased a lot. So we did a test where we increased the hit chances by 10%, but didn't show it. So when you had a 90%, that was actually 100%. And that felt right to players. So then the people felt like this is the real deal. And but in reality, it was skewed. So
this is something that I remember. That's also something that I talked about quite often recently. That in the Sid Meier talk, where he talks about game design of Civilization, which is also a game of probabilities, very often regarding the fights and everything. There's just very often, as you mentioned, there's the lack of understanding how probability works, and even by a 9-to-1 chance to hit, there's this 1 chance out of 10 that it won't work out. That you need to do adjusted secretly anyhow, so to get the player a better experience.
Yeah, that was a very interesting talk. Yeah.
Oh, you know this one?
Yeah, that was really great. Yes.
Do you guys think it could be a good idea to move this little nice guy right here and then put up a shield wall? I think this is a very good idea because I like not shield wall, a spear. Weapon wall. What do you guys think about me moving up 1 tile and then creating a weapon wall because I can't pronounce spare right?
The spear wall, that is only working for people that are moving into range.
But
so
they are already in range. Not a good idea.
Yeah, so you cannot use it. Just attack them.
That is
dish out
boring.
some damage.
I like my idea. I very much like my idea. I found it
here
very...
you can see the guy with the spear is hitting a lot of attacks. Yeah, that was bound to happen at some point. But you guys are still not fleeing, so there's that.
We still got a few minutes, Astrid.
Yeah. Is that actually the repel thingy? Is that a cool thingy? What does repel do? What does it do?
It pushes back the enemy, but I would rather do some damage. It's mainly helpful when you have, for example, an archer that is in contact with an enemy or somebody you want to save. Yeah. That was a good hit.
Yeah. Die, you little monkey. My heart. Okay. Let's see. Usually those little fucker was the guy that did actually... Sorry. I'm sorry. I try to behave and try to watch my language a little bit more. I'm sorry. Okay. This spare guy.
So far it's just 1 for 1, so you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more hit, and he's probably dead. Yes. But he's pretty much done for.
Yeah. But now we can like. Yes.
Well done. So now you can see all of them fleeing. Not all of them, but all like the 3 of them. So they won't attack. And on their turn, they try to run away. And when they're in contact with the guy from your team, you get free attacks on them. So you have to make sure to have somebody close to them when they're running away.
So move this guy between the other 2 guys. 1 step ahead.
Thank you. It was so much information, and I think I just got off after the first sentence. Okay, so now I'm.
The guy, and then you hit the guy with the guy.
I hit the guy with the guy. What?
That's the best explanation of the game ever. You hit the guy with the guy, and then you win or die.
I hit the guy with the guy. So does it make sense to actually fight now the people that are fleeing, or would it make sense to, focus on that 2 guys up here?
Yes.
Because, focus on that 2 guys up here, right? Yes. So why I don't have energy? I don't have enough energy.
It's still the same turn. So
I'm still in the same turn. I get it. Okay. Oh God, this game is so...
Move it up.
Move it up. Move it up. Move it up. Maybe here?
No, just one square. So
are you sure, André? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure, André? Sure.
Yes.
With the
Because they
snow,
don't-
unfortunately, it's more expensive to move in the snow, so you can't.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. So I would just. I could go here. No.
No.
I would just stay here, and you know what? I would just do nothing.
Same with this guy. I think there's nothing you can do.
Nothing I can do.
And he
Huh.
also used his moves.
Okay.
We'll see what happens next.
So the battle
guy-
mechanic was.
Sorry?
Yeah, go for it.
No, that guy only has a wooden club, so he's not that dangerous. So you should definitely focus on the one with the metal club on top.
You mean that one?
The
Yes.
Morning Star or what? Can't really
Okay.
see.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. No.
Uh-huh.
You will get him.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes!
There you go.
Bam, bam! Can I actually... Oh,
So
I
now
can't
you
get
can use the
him.
repel skill to push the guy away from your archer, because the archer cannot reload the crossbow when he's in close combat. But
This guy, I want to repel that guy, right? Uh-huh.
I can't read the chance. Is it 40% or something? It's really low.
45. 45?
Yeah, that's with the little magic you are doing in the background. 45 should be enough. Then.
Right?
I don't trust you, André Bernhard. I just don't trust you at that point.
No, fine.
But you know what? I will give it a try. I mean, yeah, sometimes the luck is with the stupid guys, right?
Next time. So I'm not sure if the archer actually has a close combat weapon in his inventory.
I don't think so.
No,
Then you could
didn't
get
buy
it out
something for
of
him.
A knife.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean, I could check my inventory, right? If only I would knew how.
Just press I. Or-
Ooh.
There you go. And then you can select the archer guy, and you can see what he has in his inventory. Oh, he does have a knife.
I have a little knife.
So when it's his turn, he can swap it out for the crossbow.
I mean, it's
Okay.
Lothar the Bull.
So, but we still don't care about those guys, because those guys will pretty much kill themselves by my man that is standing in between.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully, they
So
sometimes they recover regarding the morale, so they get the second spirit and then they start fighting again. But
Yeah, moving
should I
the,
then
high
maybe
guy
get
there,
here?
That would be a good idea, yes.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think so too. Good. Let's see what is happening next. Do I want to do anything with that guy? I still
Yes,
feel very
no.
useless. Uh-huh.
Still try to hit those guys, because it's not guaranteed that you kill them when they're fleeing, so you can just attack them.
Okay.
And maybe if you kill one of them, the other guys will flee as well, so that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
The thing with the bandits, with the thugs, is they have very low morale. So it's always like the undead, they will never flee. So for example, if you were undead, you would have to pull through and just keep fighting them.
That was great. I missed 2 times.
That's no problem. Chances are low. You can just move up this guy one tile, so he gets in touch with the 2 others, and then just try and attack one of them.
close the ranks.
La la la. That guy
Take
is
the upper
already.
one. We learned about
Well
the
done.
probabilities. Yes.
Now you can see the dangerous guy on top. He's fleeing as well, so
Yeah.
That is
out of the picture.
That is the dangerous guy, right?
No, the other one, the on the top.
That
That's
one's the
more
dangerous guy. I think they all look very dangerous.
The guy with the guy.
So now they're fleeing, as you can see. You're getting free attacks.
So, still, but
Try to get the knife out.
how do I get the knife out?
Press I for the inventory,
And
then right-click the knife. I think that's. And now you have the knife.
Ooh, look
Stab
at that fancy stuff. Let me see what attacks I got. Stab, 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 stab. Like it.
And the second one, this puncture, is an extremely important skill that advanced players use a lot, because
It's
with
damage
that you
over time.
I know you don't damage the armor.
That was a message for me, advanced players, Astrid.
So I feel very advanced right now. I will use the second skill just because.
that's to loot the armor of the guys, because with that it doesn't damage the armor, so then you can
So
loot it.
maybe
And
I should have listened to you.
No.
This makes sense against knights and other guys in chainmails and stuff when you want to pick up the chainmails.
Get the fancy stuff from them.
Yeah, it's very difficult because when you do that, you do little damage, and yeah, if the guy hits you back, he does a lot of damage.
Interesting discussion all the time.
Now you just have to focus on the one guy that's not fleeing with the club on the left, because all the others are not attacking you. So nice hit.
Very good. You broke the leg, the arm, or something.
Now I don't want to jinx it, but this looks very well, very okay.
Yeah, I
There's very
feel.
little that can go down south like right now.
Thank you for having so much confident trust in me. So we said I can still try to kill those guys. Oh, yay. And can
Then
I
move
actually? No, I can't. Or move? No, I move up. Move
Yeah.
move up, and maybe I
Just
can.
envelop
Nope.
the last remaining guys.
So
So, and I mean,
So-
just to make sure, this is the first battle that you are doing. This is the easy mode. You have a coach next to you, and still, it's quite a long fight, which then feels very rewarding as soon as these last two people go down. No, three of them. But this
And-
gives an overall impression of the difficult level of this game.
So
And that was always very important to us, to make the game not so grindy. And I think you only achieve, something that's not grindy by having two things. First of all, you have to have a risk, and second of all, you have to have a reward, right? So
Yeah.
if you only have a risk and don't get anything, then it's just frustrating. And if you don't have a risk and you get very little, then it's just grindy. And so we wanted to, like, through all of the game, to make all battles dangerous, and at the same time they should all give you a reward.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you only lost one guy. Very well done.
yeah, only
And you got
Falk, the
to
liar. I'm
level
so
up.
sorry, Dana.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
level
sorry,
up.
Dana. Because Dana said that Falk the liar is her favorite. I'm so sorry that I lost Falk the liar. Dana, I hope you will. I hope you will forgive me.
It's good
And,
to sort the liars out.
Good.
And now you have to
good
press the
loot.
button in the middle. Exactly. You get some really
Yes.
decent axes, a nice shield.
I got
and,
very nice loot.
Yeah, that's one part of the fun of the game, is to best your enemies and then take their stuff, and then finding like a really nice weapon or armor and then using it in the next fight. It's very rewarding.
You can upgrade your people. That's a good thing and also very rewarding.
Yeah, let's go and upgrade my people. I'm very excited. And also I get some cash. Well deserved.
Maybe set sail to success. You need to
Yeah,
rename
maybe
the
next
company.
time.
Exactly.
So I can upgrade this guy here. Click here to level up. Yes, and then I can actually choose by myself what I want to upgrade, right? And we just learned that it makes sense to upgrade the thingies with a little star on it, because my guys are specialized in the little star thingies, right?
Exactly. The talents will increase the number. So where you have a star, you would usually get like +2, and now you're getting +3, for example. And some guys have up to 3 stars, so that's a massive buff to that stat. And the idea behind that was that these stars are not related to the background. So a professional mercenary or sellsword or a knight, he will not necessarily have better talents than, for example, a farmer. So if you find a farmer that has like a 3-star talent on melee combat, then he can get to a higher level than the knight. And so through that mechanic, we want to create those real heroes that start out as like a beggar, and then at some point they get more powerful than the knight. And it's to even out a little bit the differences between the backgrounds and the starting positions of the stats.
Yeah.
And also, if I remember it correctly, in the end, there's also it's getting more expensive to push them, the progress that you're making on your skills are decreasing over time. That's what I wanted to say.
It's only after level 10 they get very, very small additional levels. 11, sorry, level 11. And you can also pick a perk from the perk tree.
That is the first time that I got a perk. I'm so excited. Oh!
No, this is where really the meat and potatoes of the game comes into play, because this perk tree is I think the thing that's discussed the most in the forums and throughout all the players, because you can do so many different combinations of these perks and so many different builds and tactics and strategies, and we tried really hard over the past 5 years to get each perk to be a worthy pick, you know. So there's no best perk, there's no best pick. It all depends on what you're going for.
No, there must be a best perk and a best thingy, and I want to know which one it is.
So it's fun to set up your party. Like, you have the spear specialist, you have the sword specialist, you have the shield guy, and the tough tanks in the middle. And
I mean, this guy. Let's discuss something. So we just learned that this guy is actually good in defense, right? So we learned this guy is good in defense, and I already gave him like some points for his defense. So I think I will actually give this guy, because this guy is not that good in defense, right? I will give that shield to this guy because he is good in defense. And I will also check for a perk that actually plays into his talents. Is that a good idea?
Very good idea. And also position him in the middle in the end. So you have like this, like the tanks in the front row.
Yep.
So, for example, in this little screen down there, you can pull the guy with the crossbow and with the pike to the lower row, and then in the combat they will start in the back. So this is actually your troop composition when the fight starts. So you can change your setup.
I see.
There's also a question from the chat whether you can rename the characters.
Yes, you can rename them. You can also give them a type.
The tank.
Yeah, that's something that I usually do, that I give them some sort of code to remember. This guy was, I wanted to build this guy into a tank or into an archer or something. And it helps you keep track of what you're doing.
Nairod, that's just what I thought as well, that Siegbot would make a good tank. This is why I gave him like the better shield and also like, skilled up his defense qualities.
There was this because...
No, wait. And also, Jan, this is for you. I want to read it out loud for you. Nairod just wrote, by the way, Jan, I want to thank you guys for this game. It's excellent and is now my most played game on Steam. Nairod, we want to know how many hours you already spent in the game. Because Jan told me about people that have like thousands of hours in the game.
Yeah, but what's the record, Jan? I mean, you can look into Steam stats. What is
we had a guy, we actually invited him to our office, and he had over 2,000 hours at that point.
Wow.
And that's pretty rough. I think that's about, but that was like a year ago, so maybe now he's at 3,000. I don't know.
Did you? There was the idea from the chat to rename the people. I mean, I wish we had more time so we could rename your people from the chat. But did you have the idea of? I mean, there was this XCOM feature where you could, I think, import your Facebook friends and make them as a character pool for the rooster of the people that you could pick. So if you need any ideas in the future, add this feature so you can have your real life friends battling for you.
Yeah, that's a lot of like streamers usually do that they rename the characters to people from the chat, and it's 2,500 hours. That's crazy. That is so cool. 800 is already a lot. Wow.
I mean, I just need to do the math.
So, was kann Weidi? Okay, Waldemar. Waldemar is okay. Hit points, What else is he skilled into? Fatigue. Oh, what is the fatigue thingy about, actually?
That's like one of the core mechanics of the game, because we really wanted to do a game without cooldowns. So when you look around, it's something that you usually don't see, that we don't have any cooldowns in the game, because it's such an easy mechanic to implement, to regulate the powerfulness of skills. And you can only use this skill like every other round or every 3 rounds or just once. But with a fatigue system, it's basically like mana of a mage. So the fatigue is like your exhaustion. And when you use a skill, your character gets more exhausted. And at some point, when there's so much exhaustion that it's not enough to use another skill, then he has to skip a turn. And every turn it gets reduced naturally, but it's you always have to manage it, because at some point you will not be able to make any more actions. So fatigue is something that you will usually want to level up on every level with most characters.
Okay, great idea. I think I will just level up the fatigue. And resolve, is resolve a thingy that I should also like level up?
Resolve determines how fast your guys will lose hope in combat and how fast they will run. And having something above 35 or 40 is good in the beginning, but some of the characters have traits where they are craven or something, and they have really low values, and you really want to increase it on those characters. So this guy looks fine. He has a lot of hit points, like a really nice talent for hit points.
Yeah, I think I will give that one also some
Another
points. No, this is not a tank. This is like a spare guy. Spear.
Yeah, actually.
I don't know. This is why I said I would just create a weapon wall, because I wasn't sure how to pronounce the S word correctly.
Spare.
It's like with beer and bear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, alcoholic drink and animal. Just okay, but I'm still checking the perks. I completely forgot about the perks that I can now choose. Oopsie. So let's see.
With the perks, we try to avoid perks that just give +5 damage or something. We think that's very boring, and we tried really hard to create perks that are more interesting and more complex. And I think we achieved that rather well, but it's something, the perk tree, that's something that we reworked the most over the 5 years. And you also have mixed skills that do damage and mixed skills that give utility, and to balance utility and damage skills against another is really hard. So for example, the Pathfinder, that's a perk that I personally like a lot. And
Super.
A lot of people
I would take that one.
A lot of people pick it on every character, and other people who are really experienced in the game, they don't pick it at all, and they say it's crap. It's but for every perk, you basically have people who say it's useless and people who say it's very powerful. It depends on who you're listening to.
But then you do it the right way.
Yeah, that's a goal. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to.
So the hit point, like the Colossus perk, is something that it works especially well if on somebody that already has a lot of hit points, because it increases
Like
them
this
by
boy.
a percentage. Yeah.
In general, I mean, do you think, I guess it's better to work out on the strengths that a character has overall instead of trying to average him? Or is that also something where you say, no, you don't really need specialists, it's good to have him like being average in everything?
Yeah, that could work out as well. I mean, I personally like to not go into too many like specialist perks, because the more specialized your different characters are, the harder it is to actually fight with them, because you have to have the right guy in the right place at the right time, and that's difficult to achieve. Yeah, and but I'm not a very good player of the game, and so many people are so much better, and it's really amazing what kind of perk combinations they can come up with.
The game get really difficult in the end when, as you mentioned before briefly, when the crisis comes up, without spoiling too much. But I mean, managing to get your to play like, I don't know, 400 hours with the same troop of it feels like incredible difficult. It's just hard to imagine how many battles you have fought and keep those people alive, or the whole troop, and still playing the same round and not trying it all over again.
Yeah, on the very top, on the top right, you have a little skull icon, and then you can see the people that have been killed already. So that's always a fun thing to do, and like at the end of a campaign.
Yeah, you can always come back to Fork the Liar if you go to the graveyard and visit him.
Exactly. So just regarding to the question in the chat, like the perks, the Pathfinder perk that we just picked is a perk that makes your characters move faster across difficult terrain. So, for example, in snow, they would be faster than the other characters, and they would use less fatigue to travel around. And I personally think it's very useful because it helps them get the right point.
Does this include hates as well? I mean, there are levels with different hates. Where we're just fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we were just fighting on a plane, and this adds another level of fun to the game when you are positioning your units on different hates, like the archers shoot further when they're placed on a hill and stuff like that.
Yeah, we try to make the combat in a way that it's very complex and difficult to grasp all these small details, but at the same time it should be intuitive. So it should be intuitive that the guy on a hill can shoot further, or a guy on a hill has an advantage in combat, or that you are slow when you're moving through swamps and stuff like that. And
no one died. Fork the Liar.
Shh. No one needs to know, André. No one needs to know.
So that was quite a successful one, right?
It was my best so far.
Oh, that was all fun. I mean, yeah, I actually love the game, and I guess a lot of people within the chat love the game already. But hopefully there are more people that are going to love it in the future, because it's definitely worth it.
Did you guys talk in the meantime about what Jan and Overhype Studios are working on right now, actually?
No, because you were sucking up all attention with you.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. But you know what, Jan? That means that you have just come again another time. I can play a little more, and André can actually ask the questions we wanted to ask.
Yeah, I got such a list of questions, but now we really know the game and not know that much about Overhype Studios yet. But maybe short glimpse into the future. Anything to expect from you in the?
So right now, like we've published the last DLC in August, was it? And then we did some support for that, and still doing that. And of course, we have something cooking, but I can't spill any news on that yet. So people will have to wait a little longer until we can finally start communicating again.
Okay.
Like how long? How long do people have to wait?
I don't want to put pressure on ourselves. So we did that in the beginning, that we occasionally promised things too early, and then at some point that will always come back to you. Because it puts pressure on you when you don't really want that, and we also are very conscious of the quality of our game, and you can see in the very long development time that we took a lot of time to get things right, and that's very important to us.
Last question from my side: how many copies did you sell? Roughly.
And there are different websites that estimate copies sold, and some of those values are rather close to what the actual sales are.
Okay.
But I can't tell right now.
That's fine. I mean, you can tell us later, actually. When I just switch off the stream.
The game did really well for us, and it generated more than enough funds to keep making games, and that's what basically is like the dream, and this is the ideal scenario to keep making games, and also to not not being forced to take on like a publisher and all the influence of a publisher that comes with the money they give you, and being independent and being able to create what you really want. That's so important, and I'm really happy that this is the situation for us.
One last question from the chat.
Yes.
I can't read out that name, but the person that just wrote the question will know that this is a question. Is the new project you are working on related to Battle Brothers? Can you say anything about that, maybe?
I can say that if you like Battle Brothers, you will definitely like that. So it's yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That was a real pleasure talking to you, Jan, and I'm sure we definitely need to invite you again one day.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great fun. And thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you for being with us, actually. Thank you, André, for being with me as well. I mean, you're my favorite like co-host, of course, because you're my only co-host. And it was great to get to know you, Jan, because we haven't met before. And it was so great to get to know that game. And I will for sure spend some more hours in the game and will give all of you guys an update in a few weeks how many hours I actually spent in and how often I like completely freaked out and just turned it off.
And also thanks to all the viewers in the chat for being with us. Hopefully you learned a bit about Battle Brothers and had a good time, and tune into us again as soon as we start the next show.
Yeah, for instance, next week, because no, that is not right. We are going to have another show this afternoon. We are going to have tutorials with Michael, the real headcat. And I think it is, I think he's doing Unreal tutorials right now, but I'm just not sure. But you can actually check our Twitch schedule and we'll get the right information there. And I think that pretty much is it for this week. And we are back next week on Monday with another Tears and Trophies with Nico and a lot of other shows. Many shows. A lot of shows.
That's fun.
So let's say bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks again.
Thanks, bye.